Hi, my name is Jack Henderson. I'm the Director of Programs at the Pittsburgh Kids Foundation. I grew up in Pittsburgh, went to North Allegheny High School. After high school, I went to the University of Richmond in Virginia. I had a great time there, loved the city, loved Virginia, loved the sun, but ultimately Pittsburgh drew me back. So I've been working for the Pittsburgh Kids Foundation almost 2 years now, where I work with students in a variety of different aspects, but namely work with students through camps in the summer and fall retreats in the fall. It's a great time. We also do some work in Haiti as well. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more about that in this series. So the pandemic has impacted my personal and professional life, just like everybody else. Our programs at the Pittsburgh Kids Foundation largely had to get canceled or postponed, unfortunately. We love bringing big groups of students together, and unfortunately, now's not a great time for that, obviously. Our work in Haiti is more important than ever in the sense that we support a hospital that's seeing lots of patients, schools, and children's homes. So luckily, our generous donors have been very supportive, and we've kind of shifted some of our time and resources towards some of those projects. Personally, I've just had more time to do a little bit more like adult things. I actually started an MBA program at Robert Morris University that I'm excited about. Got a little bit more time to pursue that. So it's impacted me just like everybody else, but just trying to make the most of my time with my wife and kind of maximize what we're doing in Haiti and making sure we're really prepared at the tail end of this to reach more kids in Pittsburgh. So the next question asks, just as a person of influence in your profession or in your community, why is it important to have an authentic relationship with Christ? And for somebody that works with youth leaders and with students directly, students really have a knack for kind of detecting hypocrisy. They really can tell if you walk the walk and talk the talk. So for me, it's really important as I work with youth leaders and as I work with students to make sure that my relationship with Christ is really dialed in. A scripture passage comes to mind, a simple one, 1 Corinthians 11. Paul says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." And I want to make sure that my example is kind of like the question asked, is genuine and authentic. As cliche as some of those words sound, it is really important that I make this a priority in my life every day if I'm going to encourage others to do so. So in working with youth leaders and students in various capacities, a number of challenges come up that we talk about and discuss and that I see. But the number one challenge that I see today is just so many different things that are vying for our time and attention. And I read a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I just want to read a quote from it real quick that talks a little bit about this, but it says, "What does it mean to follow Jesus, or as I prefer, apprentice under Jesus? It's very simple. It means you live life the way Jesus lived. You take his life and teachings as your template, your model, your pattern. This means the central question of our apprenticeship to Jesus is pretty straightforward. How would Jesus live if he were me?" So for so many students trying to figure out what they should or shouldn't do in terms of activities or friend groups or just things to be involved in, a central question you can ask is, when I was growing up, the question was, what would Jesus do? This is a little bit different. This is, what would Jesus do if he were me, if he were in my shoes at my high school? So if I could give myself advice in high school, I would keep it pretty simple because I know how I was in high school. But my advice would be just to be yourself and to not care too much or really at all about what other people think of you. I say that now because I know that when I am myself, when I live into my God-given passions and abilities, I'm my best self. I can love those around me and I can usher in God's presence into the world. So just looking back in high school, there were a lot of decisions I made that were probably to benefit others or potentially to make myself look cool or get involved with activities that I didn't really enjoy. So much time and frustration could have been eliminated if I had just done what I felt like God made me to do in choosing activities and friend groups that genuinely made me happy and genuinely led to positive relationships as opposed to trying to please others. So that's what I would tell myself in high school.